Hello everyone, my name is Nilesh. In this video tutorial, I'm going to talk about Java annotation. Here, I will discuss what is annotation, why annotations were added in Java language, what all different types of annotations, and also few common annotations we will take a look at. So let us get started with these annotation concepts one by one. Annotations were added in Java language 5.0 to associate information metadata with the classes and their members. Before Java 5.0, Java had a notion of marker interfaces for the same purpose. The marker interfaces do not contain any method. These marker interfaces were used to attach some metadata, some special functionality with the class. One of the popular example is serializable marker interface. If a class is inherited from serializable interface, then and only then that class can be serialized using object output stream write object method. However, if that class is not inherited, the write object method throws exception. Another good example is clonable interface. Java's object class clone method create a copy of the object if and only if the class is inherited from the clonable interface. Otherwise, it throws exception. Even though marker interfaces serve these simple purposes of attaching information at the class level, there were few limitations. Since marker interface contains only since marker interface doesn't contain any method, marker interfaces can be used only to tag some information, mark some information with some class. That's it. And we cannot get more details or more information about the same. Also, being the interface, it can only be used at the class level only. We cannot use the marker interface concept at the field level, at the constructor level, or at the method level. And to overcome these limitations, to attach more informative metadata at the class level, at the method level, at the constructor level, at the field level, even at the parameter level, Java 5.0 added concept of annotations. Annotations are mainly of three different types: source level annotation, class level annotation, and runtime annotation. Source level annotation are present only in .java file, only in the source file. Moment Java compiler compile it, these annotations are no more transferred into .class file. They are not recorded into the bytecode. You can see that it is working similar to the comments. You cannot use any Java decompiler to check which source level annotations were present in .java file. The most popular annotation from this category is @override or @suppress warning. Typically, these annotations were used to give some information to the compiler, or some code generation utilities were written using these annotations. The second type of annotation is class level annotation. These annotations were present in .java file, and after compilation, Java compiler also put them into the .class file. However, while loading the class into JVM memory, these annotations were removed. So these annotations were not available during execution of the program. Such annotations were used by certain frameworks like Java library, or also used by some obfuscator tool. And third, most commonly used annotation type is runtime annotation. These annotations are present in .java file, compiled and added into .class file. Also, they get loaded along with the class into JVM memory and maintained there throughout execution of the program. Typically, they are accessed and processed using Java reflection technique. Such annotations are commonly seen in almost every Java framework nowadays. One of the framework like Hibernate or JPA specification have several annotations like @entity, @table, @column, @one-to-many, and so on. Another popular Java framework, Spring, also have several annotations like @controller, @service, @repository, @bean, @afterwired, and so on. These annotation types are also said to be their retention level. Source level annotations were retained only at the source file level, while the class level annotations were retained up to .class file, and runtime annotations were present throughout runtime execution time of the program. Now let us talk about few commonly used annotations in Java that will give you better idea about what annotations can do. And one of the most commonly used annotation is @override. As you are aware, in Java, when a method is redefined in subclass with exactly same signature as of superclass method, it is method overriding. But what if by mistake I change the name of the method in subclass, or I miss some parameter? Does Java compiler give any error? Answer is no. In fact, Java compiler treat it as a new method, and finding such simple bugs can be bit tricky at times. @override annotation will compare the method signature of the method in subclass with corresponding method in the superclass, and if it is not matching, it will raise the error. In example over here, the method one signature in superclass and subclass is exactly same. This is method overriding and accepted by the compiler. However, method signature of method 2 in subclass is not matching to method signature of the same method in the superclass. Here, Java compiler will raise an error. Another popular annotation is @functional interface. This annotation is added in Java 8.0 to check whether interface contains single abstract method. If interface contains zero abstract method, or it contains multiple abstract method, the compiler raise error. Again, in this example, the interface 1 has got single abstract method, which is accepted by the compiler. However, for the interface 2, there are two abstract methods, and @functional interface is used on the top of interface. Here, compiler will raise the error indicating that this is not really the functional interface. Few more commonly seen annotations are @deprecated and @suppress warnings. If you have some class or method or constructor or field which is outdated and you want to tell its client not to use these classes or methods anymore, then they can be declared as @deprecated. If these classes or members are used in other class, compiler will raise the warning. Here, in this example, a legacy class is marked with @deprecated. Now, if someone try to use this class to create its object or call some method, then compiler will give a warning that this class is obsolete and should not be used. The another interface is suppress warning. At times, compiler gives different warning regarding usage of raw types, or serial version UID is not declared, or the conversion is not appropriate. Now, for such warning, we can use @suppress warning to ignore them. For example, in this case, we have used a list object. From Java 5 onwards, it is recommended to use generic classes all the time. However, if generic classes are not used, the compiler gives a warning. In this particular case, if I want to avoid this warning, then I can use @suppress warning raw types on the method or even at the variable level. There are several different annotations present in Java and various frameworks. In this video, we get to know basic concepts of annotation, different retention levels of annotation, and also few commonly used annotations. I hope you found this information useful. In the next part of this tutorial, I will show you how to create a custom annotation and how to apply some meta annotations on the top of it. So stay tuned. Thank you very much for watching this video.